As you can see, I've got the rear of the sling, the front of the sling, and the tension strap. The easiest way to determine that when you open up your sling for the first time, the rear of the sling is the softer tubular nylon, and the front of the sling is the flat webbing, flat nylon up front. So you can see that it would lay out just about like this. Okay, so the easiest way to get this set up for your body type, you're going to need your 3 attachment points to the rifle, of course. In this case, you can see that I'm using QD sockets, and I've got them mounted as far forward on the forend as I can and as far back on the forend as I can. There's not really a critical distance here. It's going to be a little bit dependent on your body size, but in general, with modern rifles, you want it to be as far apart as you can get them without being ridiculous. If you're putting this on a traditional type bolt gun with a floor plate or even detachable magazine system instead of an AR, you're basically going to mount your sling swivel just in front of the magazine system or in front of the floor plate of the magazine if you're mounting it at 6 o'clock. If you're mounting it on the side at 9 o'clock, again, you can mount it whatever's comfortable for you. I would put it basically just in front of the action. Rear mount in this case just goes right onto the stock, so no problem there. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is attach your front portion of the sling, but you want to leave it loose because that's where we're going to set the length of our loop for the shooting loop portion of the sling. So we'll just thread that on there and leave it a little bit loose, again using whatever hardware you want. With the middle loop, the tension strap, again you can put whatever hardware on there you want. I've used the sling with anything from QD sockets to more traditional Uncle Mike's QD swivels, mash hooks, whatever works for the type of hardware you're using. I would shorten this one just a tiny bit for me, but it's really not critical. So you can set that and play with it just a little bit yourself. And then the rear portion, I'm going to again mount kind of loose. I'm not going to lock it down with the 2 with the 2 tri-glides. I'm just going to leave 1 tri-glide on there so it doesn't slip too badly when I'm trying to set it, but I'm not going to lock it down until I'm done. So we can just thread that through and just put it through the 1 tri-glide, just so it's easier to adjust that length. Okay, once you've got that on, you've got the front of the sling that's loose and the rear of the sling that's loose. We're going to want to open up the slider as far as we can get it to make the sling as big as possible. And that's really essential because once you're using the sling as a shooting sling, as a shooting loop, you're going to need the mechanical stop that this slider buckle will afford your tension strap. If you don't open it up all the way, when you put the sling under tension by putting your arm through it and using it, your sling is going to slip just like it did there. And so you're never going to get, it may seem like a good loop, but when you actually sling it, you're never going to get the right length that way. So you want to open it up all the way. Once you've got it open up all the way, that gives you your mechanical stop and we can set the loop size for your arm. This is just trial and error for your body type. If you've got short, thick arms or a big torso, you're going to need to adjust. So all you're going to do, open it up all the way, slide your arm in as far as it'll go, up into the armpit as deep as you can make it, wrap your hand around the sling and grasp the forend. And then from a supported position, in this case I'm just going to demonstrate on the table, with that elbow supported, I can then adjust the length of the sling for the tension that I need. You want to be able to grip the sling in kneeling, prone, sitting, squatting, any position you might use it in. It's going to be a little bit of a compromise to do that though. High power shooters have a sling length for prone, they have a different sling length for sitting. We don't want to do that with a tactical sling, so you're going to have to find a compromise that works for you. It's going to be just a little bit looser in one position or a little bit tighter in another position, but it will work very well. Once you've found that position, all you're going to do is loop your tri-glides back through so that they lock down double. And with the keeper, you can keep the loose end of the sling under control, or you can thread it back through the top of the buckle if you prefer. If you really have excess sling left over, I would trim it with either a hot knife or with a sharp knife and then burn the edges so it doesn't unravel. But I wouldn't do that until you've played with the sling for a little bit and really make sure you've got the right size for you. Okay, once the sling is on and it's sized correctly to you, the only thing you need to do to adjust it or to use it is to run the buckle, run the slider, either open or closed. When I want to use the sling just as a regular 2-point tactical sling, I can just adjust it to whatever's comfortable for what I'm doing. And there it is. When I want to use it as a shooting sling, as a loop sling, I can just open it up all the way, grab my tension strap, slip the arm through, and I'm in business using it as a shooting support. And again, you may find over time or experience that you want to change your loop size just a little bit. Find out what's comfortable for you and the positions you're going to use it in with the type of clothing or armor or other equipment you might be using.